Hi everyone, this is our author study on Greg McGoon by Ashley Tarango and Laura Garcia.
So the first book that Greg McGoon wrote that we decided to talk about is The Royal Heart. It's illustrated by James Orr. It was published in 2015. Its genre is fantasy fiction, and it's intended for ages 5 to 6 years old. The Royal Heart is a classic fairy tale that focuses on transgender issues. The beginning is about a king who has a son, an heir to the throne, to follow in his footsteps. The young prince, named Lyric, has a tough time growing up because he is worried that he's not living as his true self and that he won't be able to succeed to the throne. He runs away to find his grandmother's spirit that helps him magically transform into a princess named Lyra. The princess returns and is accepted by her family and lives happily ever after while ruling the kingdom as the person she's always been on the inside. The next book is Out of the Box. It was illustrated by Elettra, published in 2014. Its genre is juvenile fiction, and it's intended for ages 5 to 8 years old. Out of the Box is a book about the power of imagination and the places our creativity can take us. In the book, Devin finds an empty box in his new house and immediately begins to use his imagination. Sometimes his box is a ship with sails going wherever the wind takes him. Other times it can be a castle or a rocket ship. To his surprise, his friends cannot see the magic in his cardboard box. Devin continues to play out imaginative adventures until finally one of his friends sees the potential of his cardboard box.
The next book is Traveling the Twisting, Troubling Tangelos Trail, illustrated by Jessa Orr, published in 2016. The genre is fiction and the age range is from 6 to 8 years old. This book is about little critters, which are the thoughts in our mind that make us question and doubt ourselves. This book takes us on a journey and guides us through our thoughts that may create a mess in our everyday lives, like anxiety. Throughout the journey, it teaches us to be kinder to ourselves and others in order to create an understanding of self-acceptance. This book helps children explore their emotions and to create a conversation about how they are feeling.
So another book that Greg McGoon has written is The Trampling, Trembling Tangelo Tale. He's also mentioned that he plans to write a series on the Royal Heart.
Some background information. The author is a photographer and an actor. He was born and raised in Southern California, and he grew up in a candy store. He graduated from the University of San Diego with a degree in psychology and political science. He taught acting at Claremont School for Theater Arts.
He founded Art Centricity Incorporated. It's a nonprofit children's creative arts experience focused on child development. He has mentioned that his inspirations for writing are Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein. He now resides in New York.
Throughout McGoon's work, common themes are journey and discovery, acceptance, strength, love and compassion, understanding, and diversity. For his style, the illustrations and text have a connection. He uses a great use of vocabulary that stimulates rich discussions, and some of his characteristics are picture books and use of fairy tale depictions that convey real-life experiences. First grade generalizations, he teaches psychological concepts like giving an understanding of how thoughts affect emotions. He recognizes the LGBTQ characters. He teaches students how creativity can lead to a bigger adventure and teaches students acceptance for all transformations.
So there's a relationship between experiences in McGoon's life and the books he writes. So after being interviewed, he said, "I was in a rather mentally destructive place at the time this came to be." Now, Greg McGoon is talking about when he wrote the book Traveling the Twisting, Troubling Tangelos Trail, and he wanted to understand why he was so miserable. So each lesson throughout the book that the little critters create is one he worked through himself while he was in that destructive place that he talked about in the quote. Another thing he talks about was, "I struggled to understand what motivates a person to object, question, or judge another person's identity." So in this quote, McGoon is talking about his choice to write A Royal Heart. Many people have said that he shouldn't have written a topic that usually comes with such tension, but he wrote it because he feels that it is the reality of how he thinks. He says that there should not be conflict because someone is expressing themselves and their personal acceptance. Now that you guys have learned a little bit about Greg McGoon and some of the books he's written, we want you guys to move along and complete the activities we have created for you guys to go along with the lesson.